Okay, welcome. Hello, everybody. My name's Eric Hagstette, and I'm a principal broker and owner of Inhabit Real Estate here in Southeast Portland. We're located on Division Street, right in the 3100 block, so right in the 50-yard line. We started Inhabit. I started Inhabit upwards of 7 years ago, and we've been in this space the whole time. And so we love working here, but with COVID, we've had to change and flex and adapt to the way we work. And that's part of the inspiration behind this podcast, is to bring you excellent information on the real estate market and what's happening locally. We plan to name this show Real Estate in the Real, and that's because our clients have told us over the last 16 years that they really appreciate our frank and candid method of communication, always looking out for the best interest of our buyers and sellers, and always telling the truth, never sugarcoating anything. So that's why we really want to bring you real data in these times where so many people are curious about what's going on in the market. So that's the purpose behind what we're doing. This is our maiden voyage. This is our first effort. I'm here with my producer and co-worker, Sebastian, who's helping me through this. Sebastian Tannenberger, you may hear him in the background helping me along the way, prompting me here and there, and helping us get our groove. And so we plan to do this regularly each week with a short market update, and then more comprehensive updates to you as we see fit. And so we're going to rely on your feedback and your questions and all of the information you want to share with us on what you want to hear and how we can make this time better and useful for you. So that's the purpose, and that's who we are. So again, I've been a real estate licensee for 16 years here in Portland. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. So I moved here in 1999 and spent a little time in corporate sales before then moving into the real estate space. I've been served in several roles and capacities in the industry, which I hope just translates into more information for our listeners. So with that said, I'm going to jump into our weekly market minute, so to speak. And I just want to give you a general update on what's going on in the trenches out in the market. We get so much statistical data these days, and sometimes it's hard to interpret, but we want to bring you the real truth and what's happening with our buyers and sellers on a day-to-day basis in the trenches in the Portland market. So I'm sure you've heard this before. It's all the buzz, but there are a lot of very consistent and known themes happening in our Portland market right now. So many people ask us regularly, what is happening in Portland? How has the pandemic affected our real estate values? Should I buy now? Should I wait? What's going on with riots, protests, social outcry, and all of those things? And so we really want to break it down to you and bring to you the real truth. So what's happening right now? I just ran some numbers for you. In Portland metropolitan market, in the single family detached market, between $450,000 and $750,000, which is kind of our wheelhouse, we have 0.85 months of inventory. Okay, so we gauge our supply and demand and inventory. 0.85 months in that market is rock bottom of the barrel. It's a total seller's market right now. And so we have buyers that are really trying to pick up real estate and having and experiencing the challenges associated with navigating through a seller's market. And so with that said, prices are on the upswing for the sellers. Good thing is rates are also rock bottom, which is rare. So we love the low rates. They're fueling the fire in the market and really allowing an increase in our affordability for our buyers. Last, to put that into comparison, the opportunity in today's market is the condominium and townhouse market, where you have upwards of 9 months of inventory, which means that's a total buyer's market. So it's unusual that they're so different, but it is what it is. So if you're looking for an opportunity in the market, condos, townhouses, small plex properties, and we'll talk more about that later. But anything you have questions about, please post up or contact us directly on market conditions and how to get through all this, and we will have the right answers for you. So thanks for paying attention to the Market Minute. Now we're going to move into get a little further on some of those opportunities that I was telling you about. And so much of our big picture problems are leading into these hyper local issues that we see in the trenches and on the streets here in Portland. And what I mean by that is the general concept of affordability. I have great concerns about affordability being eroded in Portland, and what does that do to the market? What does that do to the players in the market, the buyers and sellers? And where do buyers go when they can't afford to live in a place like this, but they're living here, they're already here? So anyway, that's something that we need to talk about, and we'll continue to talk about those kind of systemic local issues, even though they may or may not necessarily play right into the concept of buying and selling real estate. What the message I would like to really emphasize and promote is that while we're realtors and we serve transactionally our buyers and sellers, everybody in the community that lives in this space called Portland is really just as important. Just because they're not or not buying or selling real estate doesn't mean that we're all part of this together. So when we look at homelessness and mental illness and drug addiction and some of those other things that we're dealing with, that all kind of folds into the big picture. And we're going to keep talking about that stuff, and we're going to ask for help from our listeners and community on how to create solutions for this, because we have such a special city that we all love so much here in Portland. So much good going on here. Anyway, going back to the market opportunities, market challenges, single-family sellers, single-family residents, detached homes, those sellers are in complete control as long as their properties are well-priced and well-positioned and well-presented into the market. Those fundamentals still stand. Even though it's so slanted towards the seller side, it's really important to keep the basics and fundamentals in check: price, presentation, and distribution of the information. So our sellers are doing really well right now, and it's also very common for us, as a brokerage community, especially here at Inhabit, we're fielding so many curious calls about what has happened to our real estate and how are the big picture events and issues affecting our real estate. And I'm happy to say that it is unusual and plays into the concept of keep Portland weird, but our real estate is so resilient towards these things, and it's quite confusing as a professional to see all of the turbulence around us, but also to have such a strong market. You've probably heard the economists say that housing is the darling of our economy this time around, and we truly are. And we're creating jobs and work and transactions, and we're assisting people in moving up and down into the market. So there's a lot going on there. So our sellers are in a good place, and we're happy at no obligation to provide information to you just to shed light on how your specific values have been affected in the last year in 2020. For our buyers, just because it's a seller's market doesn't mean that we aren't serving our buyer clients. And quite frankly, we've had a great track record in a tight market on putting buyers in homes under tight conditions. These days, we pretty much have the menu of terms and tools and tricks and offer strategies to help our buyers get into property. One of the things we've always worked on, and personally I've always worked on, is the importance of our reputation as professionals in the market. And so our clients benefit from that, because in certain multiple offer situations, it could be the broker's reputation that can make or break the deal if all other things are equal. So we carry great pride in how we conduct ourselves professionally here at Inhabit. Areas of opportunity, like I said, buyers, if you're willing to, if you're open, I should say, to living in a condominium building, or maybe having a shared wall home like a townhouse or something like that, boy, those deals are great right now. Like I said, we have 9 months of condominium and attached housing inventory on the market. And so that would be a great place to shop if you don't absolutely have to have a detached home. Also, small plex properties and tenant occupied properties. Because of recent legislation and law that has been passed for rent control, tenant relocation fees, and some of those protective measures that were put into place, that's pumped the brakes on the small plex market. Also, the moratoriums around tenant eviction and whatnot have also just really taken people's eyes off of the small plex market right now. So if somebody is if somebody is in the, if somebody's open for something like an investment property or maybe an owner-occupied duplex, maybe you could be creative around maybe not having an owner-occupied or a single-family detached home, but you purchase a small residential duplex and you live in part of it and rent out part of it. So there's creative strategies around those markets and acquiring those types of pieces of real estate. And then also it's just really hard to bring tenant-occupied property to the market because we owe our tenants 90-day notice in Portland, and we also have to be sensitive about the ability to convey and sell property. If we're selling investment tenant-occupied property, we actually have to show that the new buyer is going to be a primary residence, or else the tenants don't get notice at all. Getting a little bit into the details on that, but it's stuff we pay attention to, and it's segments of the market that we're always looking for opportunity and looking to overcome challenges. So we look in a very holistic way on the whole market as we navigate our clients through those things. That's a general snapshot of what's going on, and we're going to continue to try and bring you those opportunities and the challenges that we're seeing on a week-to-week basis, and help you understand how we navigate those and make you feel comfortable and trust us with your questions and representation if that should be the case. On a closing note, I'd like to just say that what we're going to try and do is really look forward into the week to come and with a positive outlook, and really share with you what we're looking forward to. And I tell you, now that the smoke is lifted, literally, I'm very excited about the fall season. Fall real estate in Portland has always been our typically second best season behind the spring market. And so we're already seeing a big uptick in activity now that the smoke has cleared. And we're seeing people really trying to get into homes and make moves while we still have some good seasonality left in our market. And on the warm and fuzzy side, I'm really excited about changing the color of fall and the changing of the seasons, the leaves, sweaters, blankets, walks, those types of warm and fuzzies. I love. Fall is my favorite season of the year. And what I predict to be much different this year is that since we lost so much of the season to COVID, I really feel like we're going to be pushing our activity all the way through the end of the year, because there's so much pent-up demand and activity and people really needing to do transactions in the real estate space. And so what I look forward to the most is breathing fresh air on a simple level. It's a really fun time to meet and engage our clients, help them maybe prepare for year end. Maybe there's some real estate dealings that we have to touch on with respect to tax planning and those types of things. So it's a really great time of year to not only wind down, even though we're still very busy, but also look into the new year and prepare our clients on all the things that we're learning and experiencing in the market. We want to share that with everybody. We want to be trusted as a resource, and we really want to have fun with this too. So we are going to rely on your feedback and your questions, and to help make this a better portal for you to learn about Portland real estate. So please subscribe, share, ask us questions, and feel free to reach out, whether it be online or on the phone. There's nothing better than having a conversation. And we look forward to hearing from you, and we really appreciate your support and your trust and our relationship in general. We consider all of our clients friends, and we hope you do as well. So thank you very much.